Once again, why every woman needs a seat at the financial table. All right, so listen up, ladies. This is all about you. Here we go. So, as I started the show with, we came across a very interesting survey by BMO. It was a survey of millionaire women who divorced, or who have been divorced at least 5 years. Now, in this survey, only 36% of women who deferred money decisions felt confident handling finances during or after the divorce. Nearly 64% of those who helped manage finances felt confident. And women who equally shared money management were the strongest. 68% said they were confident and that they stay the same before and after divorce. So once again, the stats are showing if you are involved in the family finances, you're going to be more confident. And Jason, I want to hit on this last point of the survey, or this last point I just mentioned, which is they were confident enough to stay the course. In other words, they did not make any radical changes in their portfolios, so on and so forth. I think that was that portion right there of the survey was a real testament that, again, they understood what they had before the divorce. They understand what they have after the divorce. Maybe they have more, a bit about who got the 50% portion. But again, I think it just solidifies the importance of being involved in the finances. And also, very important point to take away is, a divorce is like losing a loved one, right? To death. Your life is turned upside down. Your finances, everything's upside down. Same advice we give when someone loses a loved one: don't make any rash decisions, right? Give it time, even if you think, my God, my husband's portfolio was not what I would want. Relax a little bit, get through the divorce, get after that, and then wait and see where things are, where you're going in your life, et cetera, before you make major radical changes. Because sometimes you go, I want zero that man had in that portfolio. I want to start all over. So be really careful on that side of it.
I mean, I think the point where you mentioned that the confidence stays the same before and after divorce, or we can put death in there if we want to make it not as dark of a show. I guess death is still dark, but anyway, it's the financial literacy part gives you confidence with everything. Any amount of education literacy would teach you some of the things that you've been saying is, give it time, don't make rash decisions. But also, if you understand at least loosely what's inside of the investments, or what your cash flow, how it's derived, right? A lot of people just don't want to care. I know we get money from this thing that says, brokerage account X, and it just keeps on coming, right? Whereas if both husband and wife are involved in the conversations, you understand what the machine is doing. You understand
Yes.
what the advisor is doing with you, and cash flow planning and portfolio construction and so on and so forth, that you don't have to be a PhD, but at least having enough of a knowledge base to feel comfortable before or after any life-changing event it spawns from the education part. Is just being involved and knowing a bit of what's going on.
You sparked something in my mind as you were saying that. And I don't know about you, but I don't see it enough, and I wish we would see it more. So I'm going to throw it out there to everybody. If you are contemplating a divorce and you have a great relationship, as you should, with your financial advisor, sit down with your financial advisor before the attorneys get their hand on everything, because you would be amazed at a good financial advisor, which I consider obviously Jason and I in that category, can be that, in a sense, I hate to use the word mediator, but that mediator to talk about what the investments are. Because many times, folks, divorce attorneys do not have the knowledge of the investments, right? We have seen it. I could do a whole show on what some attorneys have told clients, how to distribute assets. And I mean, I've been yelled at by attorneys that they wanted the IRA to be split before the qualified domestic relation, or the quadro, was signed by the judge. Well, that would have been a taxable distribution, by the man in my example, before he gave it to his wife. Get your financial. We're not going to sit here and play marriage counselor with you. I'll tell you that. I have saved some marriages, I'll be proud to say, but that's not the purpose of the meeting. The purpose is to say, look at folks, this is what you have. These are the investments. She's got this, he's got that. Here's the tax ramifications, etc. That way, when you do sit down with your respective divorce attorneys, you have an idea. Because all you're going to do is you're just going to fill out a form with those divorce attorneys and say, I've got an account here and an IRA there and so on and so forth. Most of them that I know of, they don't have the expertise to get into how all these, especially when you get into more sophisticated investments like institutional money managers and annuities and different things like that. That's what you have the financial advisor for. So include he or she in that, pre-attorney, pre-divorce discussion. Again, they're not going to play marriage counselor with you, but at least give you the knowledge and everything that both of you need to make, informed decisions. And then feel free to always tell your divorce attorney to reach out to your financial advisor. They may have you sign a form indicating that, they can release information to your divorce attorney. But just, real life advice from that side of it.